It's been a long time between drinks for these, hasn't it? And I just thought today that I would show you one of my new stencils in my Etsy store. Um, I actually used, I've got A5 stencils, so that I'm using them in my 8x11 uh, I think it's 8x11, my Small Delusions journal anyway. And the way that I used that stencil initially was I just had a makeup sponge with Black Ranger ink, waterproof, fade-proof ink, and I just inked it in through the fine things. I like the fact that it gives you that sketchy kind of look. I then had a reasonably faint impression, so I just went over it with a graphite pencil just so that I could see it a little bit more. And I initially wanted to make this girl reasonably simple, and I still did really. I had started doing a neo colour. This is just a neo colour background that I'd started at the Disability Opening Doors Expo, and all I decided to do was to use some Santa's flesh in my deco art. Actually, well, it's Ceramcoat. So my Ceramcoat Santa's flesh acrylic paint, and I was just going to do a really simple kind of thing, and some of the shadows I didn't like, so you can see my process. She definitely goes through an ugly stage. I think the only thing sometimes I don't like about the Ceramcoat is that it is really opaque, so you know, if I wanted some of the background to come through, I wouldn't be using Ceramcoat. But that said, you know, I love being able to show you my process where I start from something random and then bring it out and work with it. So I'm just adding in some cream. So it's called buttercream. And I think sometimes these colours don't go as well together. Like some of the Ceramcoat colours don't always go as well together. So, you know, I often add in different colours as well. And I guess I was just adding in a little bit of the peach. It's called Peaches and Cream by Americana. And I was going to kind of leave it at that. And having a look at it on the video, I kind of think, yeah, maybe I should have. But, you know, she's looking potentially very white there. So I just decided I would keep going with some of the darker colours, just playing. One of the things I love about acrylic is that, you know, you can always start again and paint over and do things like that. And that's really important in this particular type of painting, where you're putting the shadows in. And yeah, at this point, because it's kind of grippy, I could have gone back in over with that with a gouache, and I probably am going to try that with the next one that I do. I've got a really nice back-facing stencil girl that I either do just in watercolor because I really love the effect that I get with it, or I use with gouache and acrylic, and I see how I can build that up. So I think you just have to work with it, just to get that light and shade. It wasn't working as well for me as I had hoped at this point. And you can tell sometimes I'm a bit impatient. I just want to get it done and have it perfect, and that's done, and I don't want to work for it. But with this, I definitely had to work for it. So I'm just working with it in this part. And I guess with this, I'm just using a fine angle brush. I'm not using a filbert. Often I use a filbert. I'm having afternoon tea at the moment, and it's been a rough bit of a day for me, actually. I had a lovely day yesterday, and then last night I got hit with some serious pain, and I'm like, oh, ended up in hospital. I'm out though. I'm good. Tired but good. Need to catch up on my sleep. So I'm just putting the dark. He doesn't like pink hair. I was looking at the colours that I wanted to use for this because I just wanted to kind of blend it into the background, etc. Wanted to meld it in with some of the colours that I already had. And I find, and I'm using a heavy-bodied acrylic by Matisse. So they're heavy-body acrylic, which works a little bit like oils. I think if I want to have a work kind of like oils, I'll use the heavy-body acrylics. Just putting some light and shade and doing it while it's wet so it blends in with the other. And because it's not fluid, it just really works well. And I decided that I would put some of that heavy-bodied acrylic in as more highlights. Get that yellow theme running. She could use some lightening up with the yellow. So, yeah, and that's working down in the body. I liked the back of her back and shoulder there. So now I'm just working it in with the flesh tones again. Some more peach. I kind of really got into the space where I wanted her to have a real peachy kind of a face. And I think at this point it looks better on the video than what it did in real life. I think sometimes my lighting is really good and sets my work in a really good light. So I just made her lips very small. So in the stencil I don't clearly define her lips because I want to give you variety about how you approach your girls. I've got hair with this one, but it's not hugely formed, the hair. And I like to give you as much variety with the stencils so that you can do with your stencils what you wish. It's a little bit different from my Brave Girl stencil, which is just the face. But I will be releasing some more that are just the face. So just have some simple lines that you can incorporate into your picture. And it allows you to use a more abstract style if that's what you wish to do. So now I'm just blacking in, just using, I just fell in love with that heavy-bodied acrylic as I was working on this page really well. And then, I'm just extending her hairline out. I think it was cut off a bit. And then I really like the pink and the yellow together. So I was just working some of that in while the yellow was still wet. It doesn't dry really fast, that heavy-body acrylic, that heavy-body Matisse acrylic. It can dry fast in, hot, dry conditions, but I was painting this on a rainy night, so it was very, very workable for a long time. Like that. So now I'm just getting some deeper colours. I'm using Jane Davenport's Epic pen. She often sketches with it first and then paints with watercolour over the top. I wanted really, really fine lines here. I really didn't want to be very illustratorly. So I wanted to kind of just define that she was there, but not, really black in the details. And now I'm just using a Uniball 0.7. And she's got a little friend, and he's like a stuffed bunny. He looks real, but he's kind of stuffed. Soft bunny. So I love the Epic pen. It does those beautiful kind of broken lines that I really like. And you can only get that with, you know, that kind of fine pen and a very light touch. Awesome. And I keep thinking, what colour will I do these bunnies? My favourite bunnies are like white. And, or white with little spots and blotches and things like that. And I thought, oh, well, I'll start using a grey pen, but the grey pen was much darker than what I thought. So in the end, I went away from using the grey pens and Tombows on the Delusions paper because they weren't kind of working anyway, and decided to go paint. That pen was even darker, so it wasn't working for me really. So now I just decided that I would use some paint and let the markers blend in with the paint. Oh, I put Spectrum Nor pencils first and then paint. I still had hopes that I could, you know, kind of blend it, but I just didn't kind of like it as much. And I guess after a while I just got frustrated with it and went, nah, I need paint. So I just mixed up a little black with a little bit of white paint and a little bit of black. No Payne's Grey, just a carbon sort of black. And that just mixed in, went over the top, mixed in with some of the Tombows as well. And just gave me the look I was actually looking for in the first place. Should have just gone with paint. Sometimes we make it hard for ourselves. And it's done. Very simple. And this particular page, I just working on the eye. And I often, with this kind of gritty kind of craft paint, like working with a China marker, China pencil. It just puts those soft kind of charcoaly highlights in with the white that you don't get with kind of normal pencil. I used like a watercolour pencil for her eyes, so I took some of the pigment out so that it didn't look so bright. Now I'm just using a few little bits of white. You can see that broken line detail that I'm talking about there. A little bit closer up. And now I'm getting to the final stages. I think I used a little bit of grey pencil to put some definition into her eyeball. Her eyeball is too white, and nobody's eyeball is that white. It's like, the only time I see eyeballs that white is in like scary movies where you can see the eyes glowing. And yeah, it's just, I decided to put in a sketchy kind of a border. I wanted to be able to write over the top. And a lot of the times, like, I treat these journals as my written journal as well as my art journal. And I want in the future for my family and my friends to be able to see what I was doing on any given day, and for it still to be a reflection of my life and how I'm feeling and what I'm thinking. And I have a number of different journals. I do have just a writing journal that I love sticking feathers in, and, you know, ephemera and little images and bits and bobs that I pick up around the place that inspire me. But yeah, I like to be able to, I don't do it on every page, but I do like to be able to write a lot. And I had a bit that I was thinking about, and I'm thinking about how I need to appreciate more the simple things, and about how I'm enjoying the fact that I can wake up for a new day and that I can do more, and I love what I do, you know, and that I need to appreciate that more and not live with regret and not wish for something that I don't have. You know, it's all very good to be bold and to aspire to want more and to work towards that. That's what my goal is for this year. But I'm not going to cry about the fact that I've got opportunities or that rejection in my work area or hardships there, because that's all part of life. So I am going to take up my opportunities and make them work for me. And I hope you enjoy this video. I love the fact that I can share all this with you. If you love my stencil, go to my Etsy store. I'll put the link in the description. Ciao for now.